Right then, we're back. Finally.
And well, sooner rather than later. No, it's been a bit longer than this in the past, hasn't it? So we've done well here. We've done very well.
I think I'd like to do more of these, so we're just giving a quick trial of a cut down use of equipment and see if we can knock them out as fast as possible.
Smaller tech package.
Yeah, so if you can fill, I have got an agenda.
Well, I will fill by starting saying Carl and I are sporting our all new bucket hats available at the club shop, just £20, and all of that money goes straight back into the club so we can buy more and more stock for the club shop, which is essentially what we need, isn't it? But they're all right, aren't they? Nice and light.
I love a bucket hat anyway, but it's very comfortable.
Yes.
It is the hottest day of the year.
It is.
But yeah, I will be wearing this.
So we're sheltered from the sun. But yeah, just £20, and we've not got many. So and we've got to wait. Well, we've got a few people signed up already to buy some. So get in fast is my advice. We'll take some to Prestwich on Saturday if you're there. So.
Yeah, so we are playing Prestwich Hayes on Saturday.
Yes.
Pre-season starts then.
Yes. It feels like Prestwich Hayes feels like your staple pre-season fixture at the moment, considering we seem to play there every season. But listen. I'm a bit of a non-league geek. I like Prestwich Hayes.
I like the place. I used to go there when they were in the Manchester League. It's not far.
Nice, easy to get to.
It used to be like £2 to get in.
Big car park, you know, great pitch. It'll be a good game.
I went with Rob once watching a playoff game. We went to the pub there.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Say no more.
That
but
was
you know.
an experience.
Yeah.
So we've got that. We'll cover pre-season first of all. Then we've got into Chatterton on the Tuesday. Games thick and fast.
And Chatterton, by the way, I think that'll be one of their first. Oh no, it won't be their first game, but one of their first games at the new and improved White Bank Stadium. Did you know they didn't play a single game there last season?
No.
So Chatterton ground shared with Avro last season. They've just had a brand new 4G laid.
Yeah, you do wonder where these clubs get the finances from.
But Chatterton, that'll be an interesting game because they had a good season last season. That last season was the first time ever in the North West Counties Prem. So they'd spent their entire history in Division 1 in North West Counties, their first ever promotion.
I have seen them in Division 1.
And they've just finished outside the playoffs.
Right.
So that'll be a good game. That'll be a good game.
They were into Padiham. They made the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think, did they lose to Bury?
Yeah.
They're strong.
Tough place to go as well. To go. I mean, we're only talking pre-season, but listen, we're going to get excited about summer, haven't we?
I'll be there. Not been for a while.
Yeah.
Last time we went there, do you remember we won 2-1 with Jamie Forbes?
And was it a festive? It wasn't a festive. It was in the depths of winter.
It was in the depths of winter. It was a night match.
Yes, Tuesday night.
We scored down the bottom end, and I videoed Jamie Forbes.
Me, Gibbo, and Lucy Weir went to Wetherspoons in Burnley for tea before the game. I mean, there's a story for you. And then we went up to the ground. So yeah.
Then first home game is West Didsbury. That's with Switch Road, so we are at home 15th Saturday. Tuesday.
And that's always a tough game.
Yeah, they had a good season. They've got aspirations to get to the Northern Prem.
And let's not forget, it's Clegg's second game, 2-2 penalties. So they can take us all the way. Granted, it's a different team now, but still, look,
we're gearing up. Yeah. We're playing the Bolton Wanderers B team.
Yeah.
And they're always interesting games because Bolton have put a lot of time and effort into developing that structure.
Yeah, and I think Julian Darby's the coach or on the coaching staff. So. Yeah. Look, maybe not on the pitch you're coming up against young lads, but certainly off the pitch you're coming up against good football in
Some of these players will go on to have careers.
Well, we've in seasons past, 99% of our loan players from Bolton have come from the B team.
Yeah, well, there's a picture of Rob Holden who went to Arsenal playing here. I think Clover turning him inside out.
100%, 100%.
And we play Rylands. Away, I've got that as
27th is that or something.
26th. And then we've fitted in a home game against Bamber Bridge, which I've got my Bamber Bridge t-shirt on.
Tuesday, I think that's Tuesday the 28th.
Tuesday the 29th I've got. And then season starts essentially on the 2nd of August with the FA Cup.
I mean, I'm thinking out loud. Yeah, it does. Yeah, so that Tuesday Saturday game will be a quick turnaround. The Rylands game will be a good test. Bridge will be a good test.
But I do like the way it's.
Yeah, and do you know what I like as well? The way, I mean, kind of just talking about it for the sake of talking about it. I'm going to keep mine on. I'm going to stay committed. But it's just a nice, straightforward pre-season, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
complicated
Yeah,
about
they're
it.
all close.
We're
by.
not traipsing somewhere on a long distance weekend. I think
Yeah.
people's lives are busy now. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's very true.
there's a few of us missing the 19th. There's a few of us missing X dates, and we just got to get on with it. Really,
Yeah.
pre-season's not the be all and end all, is it?
No, it's not. But we're going up to what is going to be a big season.
Yeah, an exciting season. And it all starts with question mark. We don't know yet, do we?
We don't know. We're still waiting for the fixtures.
But we're also waiting for that FA Cup draw.
We are.
Because for the first time, would it be ever in a cold season, do you reckon? We've opened with an FA Cup game?
Oh, I don't know. You'd have to ask me on that.
I reckon it's got to be.
Yeah.
I reckon it's got to be because the club either wasn't ever in the FA Cup or when it was certainly towards the end of August.
Yeah. The thing is that FA Cup, the next round's in 2 weeks, and then the FA Trophy kicks in. So August is going to be a really, really busy month for football.
And it's going to be interesting because one thing we've always said about it as a football club is we've not, probably since that trophy run last time, we've not had a cup run really.
An FA Cup appearance in the first round could make this football club.
Easy.
That's the dream, and clubs from this league and levels below do make it to the first round.
All we need as a football club, and everyone will agree here, is we just need that break, don't we? That chance.
To rise above and like
get a TV
have on High Street, people with Coles flags in the windows and stuff like that.
You're up for the cup and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With the tinfoil one, and
that is the dream.
And that's it. And look, it is a dream because so few clubs make it. We've come close, but never. Not in the FA Cup, in the trophy, obviously, closer. But it's. I get it because when you're a manager and you've got the season, in front of you, you're thinking, we're not going to win it, but we could win this.
We are laser focused this season on the league, aren't we?
100%. And Clay's not made any bones about it.
No, he's not. I really like that. We were both here in the season we won the league, and I don't think we made any noises about it, even though we'd won the Integral Cup this season before, which was a massive achievement.
Huge.
And it was a signpost of, we have got a decent side here.
Football club,
but I don't think we knew that it was going to be that good, and we didn't make any noises, and we were very sort of measured in what we did say. But this season we're going, all guns blazing.
I think all of the times we've been promoted, it's always been don't curse it or don't let's just keep doing let's focus on us. Whereas this time, you're right, it's all guns blazing, and I think that's because the landscape of the league's changed. I think in terms of the cover, like everyone, whether you're a Linux, whether you're a Stalybridge, whether you're a Congleton, everyone is in the shadow of Bury.
Yeah,
and you've got to shout the loudest to get a bit of attention, and that's what Cleggy started to do. He started to shout the loudest. Because if you don't, people will just, your season could very, very quickly disappear into the ether.
It is very true. If you're potentially 20 points off Bury, you just, we're not going up this season. What do you do? Call it, pull your budget? I don't know.
But it's almost like Cleggy's calling their bluff early on.
Well, I really like the fact that Bury have probably never even heard of us. And we've put a target on the back, and potentially come April there's people in Bury having sleepless nights about Atherton Collieries.
Well, that's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
that excites me.
That's the hope.
So what I've got a list here is we're going to quickly go through the players.
Yes.
So a couple of 3 departures, which is really impressive that we've maintained that squad
at this level of football.
Incredible. Sol went back to Blackburn,
which was expected. He's a lone lad.
Yeah, thanks to him, Connor's come in. It looks incredible. Scott Backar's gone to Linux.
I must admit, a surprise, but fair enough.
Yeah, I rate Scott as a player.
I do too.
And Joe Eddy left as well.
Where's he gone?
I don't know.
I mean, Joe Edwards towards the end, he was in the Baller League and stuff like that, and I think the Baller League is something beyond my understanding, but it's a bit like that kind of personality style sport. You know what I mean? You kind of.
I thought there was a massive player there.
Yeah,
and I thought we never got to see any of it.
But I also don't think we needed it either.
No, we didn't. Dwyer.
We need
the limelight.
We need steamrollers. I think we need somebody who's going to brutally
Yeah.
you know, get you, attack you, ruin you, run round you, score goals against you. And Joe Edwards not that kind of player. He's a good player, don't be wrong.
Very good.
Would I like him in my team? 100%. But
you've got Joe Higgs in the middle.
You got Joe Higgs in the middle.
He's just a monster.
When you got Aaron Dwyer on one side, on the other, you know, it's what's the need really?
Yeah, and then I've got a question back about. I think Matty Bryan retired.
Yeah.
But I don't discount entirely the chance that we'll see him at some point. But I don't know that, and I'm not. He wasn't. Well, I went to training on Saturday and he wasn't there. Yeah. But then a lot of people were still on holiday. Yeah. So then we brought Connor, the goalkeeper, in. Yeah. I was at training. He was at City Liverpool last season, but that doesn't tell you an awful lot. No. I saw him in training on Saturday and he looked very good.
Oh, that's good.
Brilliant. Yeah, very good. Greeny was rather enthusiastic. I've got a clip which hopefully Rob's going to put out at some point of him training. Sam Sheridan's come in. Yeah. Who's worked with Cleggy at Ashton United.
And he's summer signing,
yeah. Or just all the experience in the world.
You know, that's it. He is your Northern Premier League player. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He knows this league inside out. He knows how to win games. Yeah. You know, where sometimes we might concede a couple of last minute equalisers. That won't happen with him. Yeah. He's got that. I think he always was it Sam Sheridan. Whenever we played Ashton United, he would always score against us. Or he went through a spell of just scoring against us. Yeah. I might be completely wrong there, but
well, he came from Wimbershaw Town, didn't he? We brought Rodney Ajayi as well. Yes, I think he also came from Wimbershaw Town. Don't know as much about him, but Cleggy was really excited about bringing him in. Yeah. So I think he's a player that we're going to see a lot of. We met Mason Everton last week. Yeah. Really likeable lad. He's come from I really like what he said. He was
very modest.
Yeah, but it's time to step up his football. Yeah. And obviously he could have gone to any team in the NPL.
And what you've got to realise is the top end of that North West Counties League isn't what it was when we were in there. You know, it's a really high-end quality division.
Ireland just won the Manchester Cup to beat Hyde United, and Hyde didn't go there to have a party. They've gone there to win it. So
of course they have.
Yeah, Mason's meant to be a good player. We met Luke Knock as well, who was Wimbershaw Town. Also, he captained them.
Did he really?
He captained them. So
a bit of experience.
Well, we spoke to Luke, didn't we? He was at Bolton as a junior. So he must have a lot of quality about him, but to captain aside.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think he's.
And the thing is, you know, it's just that experience again. I know you look at the league table and go, look at where with the short town were, but I think there were so many external factors to those individual players.
Like you said at the start of the season, they could have gone up.
Easy. Yeah. Well, they were favourites, weren't they? You know, people were saying that, and what quite happened there, I don't know. And Javid has come in. Also, we met him. We did an interview with him. He's the centre back, isn't he?
Yeah,
and he's not really.
I think he's a full back who can play both sides. Because I did check out some footage.
Because he's not built like your classic centre back.
I think he's a full back.
Right, because he's very, very wide. Yeah. Quite broad in the shoulders. Yeah. So quite small.
I watched some footage of him, and he's one of these players that deals with things.
Fine.
You know, situations arisen.
And we need that.
You know, you imagine Sidney Fofana diving in. Yeah. He was that. He's not running alongside them. You know, waiting for someone else. He's like smashing in there, or jostling them out of play, hurrying people, giving them no space. We did an interview with him. And it was in a storm and it all blew out, so we'll have to do it again. But we'll just do that again. Yeah. And I did speak to him on Saturday. He's fine with that. And then, so Chinedi Uche, I don't know if Uche came in. And he's a player I don't know a lot about. But I think he worked with Cleggy at Macclesfield.
Yes, yeah.
So
I don't know a lot about him either.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting seeing these guys in pre-season.
And I think that's going to be the key thing now. Previously, you've always, the past 2 seasons especially, it's always been a case of trialists. Yeah. It's been quite, been quite impersonal.
Yeah, totally. Whereas, well, I go back to Prestwich Hayes last season.
Yeah.
It was a shit show.
It was, and we lost that, didn't we?
We lost against Prestwich Hayes,
who went on to finish near bottom.
And they finished near the bottom. And that side, I said earlier, I watched Prestwich Hayes in the Manchester League. They looked like a Manchester League sort of side at the time. They weren't Northern Premier League players. No. They were these big lads that can play. You know, my God, they can play. But they don't get around the pitch much. And
it was. I remember leaving that afternoon thinking, this is not going to end pretty.
I can't remember any of the players or anything like that.
Whereas now at least you've got a bit of background, so you can keep an eye out for them
entirely.
and go, oh, do you know what, that was a good ball or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's not what pre-season is all about. Like tomorrow, I think I'm going to pop down to Nelson. Nelson are playing something because I've not been in a while, and just to watch a bit of football again, and that's what pre-season is all about, isn't it? And I'm sure Cleggy and the lads can't wait because, imagine in less than a month, it all starts again. The madness. So
And then so we've got Jordan Hunter.
Yeah.
I think he's Cleggy's. He's pulled a rabbit out of a hat.
Oh, fine.
He's a conference level player.
Oh yes, Is he another defender?
He's a defender.
Yes. And he played for Chester.
He's played for Chester.
Yeah.
He's played for Gainsborough in the conference. So Shields in the conference.
And that's the Clegg. And he's moved. I think he's moved to the area, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he can't commit.
I think
to the conference hours.
I think maybe from this area.
Right.
But he can't commit because you can see how you Hereford away on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. It's insane. And even Hereford's the biggie, isn't it? But when you've got your Oxfords in there,
just all this.
And you might not train. You might train in. Like I know Barrow, for example, would still train in Manchester just to attract the player pool. So who knows where you're bloody training? But it's hard work. So and that's the Clegg effect. Clegg is doing it himself. Oh, listen, Clegg could manage in the top end of the Northern Prem, could manage in the conference, but he doesn't want to because of commitments. And that's
Cleggy spoke. So I went to training on Saturday. We had a bit of a meeting beforehand, and Michael gave a motivation speech. And I put him up one of the finest motivation speakers.
Really?
He could earn a living as a motivation speaker.
Yeah, easy. He's a seller.
At the end of this, me and Rob would have run through a brick wall for you. He brings together
100%.
Yeah. 100%. So, and the final player, and certainly last but not least, is now Battersby, returning to the club. We watched
with winning credentials under his sleeve.
Won the league last season. Incredible.
Centre back,
Michael's, I did think so. In the last season, Michael was talking about it's my hometown team and it means more. I did think that was like a product Niall, but he still talks about this that it's his hometown. He's here. He's taking the kids to school. He's going to the shops. You can't get away from a bad performance. Whereas people who live slightly at the time.
It's that pride, isn't it? A bit of local pride and that inescapable. You're doing it. It does mean more. You're doing it for the town. You're doing it for the people that work here because. Look, if you're doing it for vast riches, then this is the wrong place, and everybody knows that. You say it wants stuff on the ground. Our ground's brilliant for the level it's at, but if you want your money, then you look at your Staley bridges and stuff like that, don't you? Who've got this unbelievable facility, but I
think it's a balancing act or a trade-off that. Like Mason Everton said, it's time for him to step up, and you could do really well this season, and you can step up again. And it's not a million miles to being a full-time footballer. And any of these lads that have come in.
But listen, with Nicky Hunridge too as well, if you want to be a full-time footballer, then you're in the right pool, aren't you?
Well, so I watched the training session. I've seen a few training sessions over my time, and I remember watching them and going, I don't know what's going on here, but he's going. You do this, do that, and they do.
Who, Nicky?
No, any coach tells you that run that way, kick the ball, pass it, touch that thing.
You can't understand the benefit. You're like, how does this translate?
But I've been sort of, what was that? So they take on the information really fast, and it must be something. There must be patterns. They must, have done this 100 times. But Nicky was really, really good. He had the drills laid out to work on the fitness and strength. But everyone, has got just total respect for Nicky because he's played. His Bolton's right back in those days when Sam could have gone out and got anyone in the world essentially. He's got it all, been there, done it, and the players really, really respected him.
And the thing is, I know Nicky as well has spent a lot of time working in youth football in the area with this academy.
That's true.
So he knows the market he's working in. So. I mean, look, what a coup, right? What a coup! I mean, when he was here on Saturday playing for the Bolton Wanderers legend, just thinking, my God, there's our assistant manager next season. It's
incredible.
It helps Cleggy out, because he's got that.
Yes.
Not that I think Cleggy ever needs it, but he's got that soundboard if ever he wants it, and that's the key thing.
Yeah.
So
what I was thinking was that a lot of the defenders Nicky will be able to talk to them in their own language with that, experience, having been a professional footballer for all those years.
And if you're a numbers guy, what let us down last season a bit? Well, it's like, you look at your kids' Groves where you're down to 10, they're down to 10 men, you 1-0 up, how'd you lose that game 2-1? And it was poor defence ultimately. And that's where, because that's what killed us last season, wasn't it? That's the only reason why we didn't get into the playoffs. That week where we lost 3 games.
That killed off the dream.
Because you could have had 9 points and it's a different story there.
But also, I think that we just ran out of legs.
Of course we did.
Yeah, looking at the squad that he's pulled together, and Michael stood up there and spoke, and and he's like, there's people not here today, Dwyer. I don't know, people may be still on holiday or whatever, which is absolutely fine. Michael's absolutely fine with that because he says he's got them all season. So he encourages people to spend time with their families.
Listen, it's
but there was another bunch of people who weren't there, and it was like, this is some squad we've got here.
And it is, and look, are they the starlets that Bury attract? No. But do you need starlets to win this league? No. You just need quality players, and that's what we've got. We haven't got people. Like Aaron Dwyer doesn't sing and shout about what he does. No. Just gets on and does it. You know what I mean? In a kind of workman-like way. And that's what you need. You don't need somebody who's going to, who's got X amount of thousand followers on Instagram and will pose for you in a kit launch. You just need someone who's going to absolutely.
We may do a bucket hat.
A bucket hat launch, perhaps, yeah. In a Coles style way. They'll probably be sold out by the time the launch has gone out.
Which will be an entire Coles way to do things.
100%. We'll have to get some more ordered. But yeah. It's just about, it's about making sure, and we've just had a meeting about this, haven't we? We mirror the ambition of Cleggie on the pitch.
Yeah, we absolutely have to.
And that's, is it easier said than done? Of course it is. Have we made a good start with stuff like this? Of course we have, and the kit design that's going to come through. Hopefully, we're going to sample by the end of the week. Touch wood.
So go back. I wanted to talk about a few things.
I
wanted to get back in, talk about what we do. Just shoehorn this in before pre-season.
Yeah.
Like me and Rob, we've got a lot of gear, and things very much go wrong.
All paid for out of their own pocket, by the way. I'll add that.
So we interviewed Niall
Yes.
about the kit launch. So Rob's putting together a video for the kit launch, interviewing. So he's interviewed Laugh and Niall. I don't know if he's done Michael yet.
Right.
But it was just a mess of, I haven't got a memory card. As you've seen, I didn't have a memory card for that thing. And then the one of these we did with Emil, the end of season wrap up, the batteries on this, which I knew was going to happen, they died, and just... but we're putting this on YouTube. What I'd ask, if anyone's watching, is to give it a like, because that really helps us. And if you watch any of our stuff, just press the like button. It doesn't cost you any money. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, because pretty much this is all I do at the club. And if the likes, the ratio to likes to views, it gets promoted to other people.
It helps with data and stuff like that, doesn't it? And sponsorship. You can say to somebody like, look at someone. Someone. My first protocol before I book a hotel or book a flight with an airline I haven't heard of, I look at YouTube. I look at what's out there. Do you know what I mean about it and stuff like this? So if someone's thinking, I'll sponsor Atherton Goals, look at the YouTube channel. To see this is brilliant. So. Yeah, please do if you can. Please do.
Like one of the things last season that we didn't really talk about at the end of the season wrap up was when Michael said he was coming back. The previous management did not value the media in any way, and in fact they were fined, weren't they, for posting on social media about football, which I can't get my head around. But when Michael came in, he literally tore that down and threw it in the bin, just shook his head. He said, right, we're going to do an interview. Which you did, and we need to smash it.
I think we did.
And we did.
I thought the whole setup was brilliant.
Yeah, we put the lighting up, but it's all these things. We had a false start, didn't they? When I pressed, forgot to press record.
But that helped in a way, because then at least Cleggie knows what's coming in interview.
Yeah, that's true. But we got it right, and think we need those trial runs, which is partly what this is about. Then also at the same time, Rob was doing a video. And I thought that was an incredible piece of work. And we hadn't seen anything like that because they hadn't been given,
the material to play with. The willingness to just walk back down that again. Because it's hard work. I mean, look, these guys aren't actors, are they? They're just normal everyday people. And when you're being asked to, can you look in this direction, that direction, sometimes it can look quite wooden, but full credit to Cleggy because he just throws himself in everything. I think the lads will too. When you want to Cleggy's lads, you do that. So.
Well, that's one of the things I would like to do is to pull more people on camera. We did an interview with Luke Knock and Mason Everson just to introduce them to ourselves to them and them to the people.
But it's also like we've talked about. We keep talking about this narrative, don't we? What is the story here? And you've got to get to know the lads.
Yeah, you've got to the protagonists.
And that's easier said than done because some of these lads, is it Luke that was quite shy? One word answers, you've got to tease the answers out of them.
But that's okay because that's his personality. You get that across.
But I'm sure after a win, a couple of games in, it'll be very different. Absolutely, you know what I mean?
David wasn't quite a one word. He was such a good interview.
You could tell he was media trained. He did a media training session.
Well, he's had a great career in football. Yeah.
But when you play at your islands and stuff like that, you know that they're going to be able to answer something. It's your North West counties where the media setup isn't probably as intense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we did talk about that with Luke, didn't we? That they come from Withershire. No disrespect, came from the Cheshire Leagues into the North West counties.
Very meteoric rise.
Like we did.
Mirrored us in a way.
And they just weren't prepared for that.
Yeah.
Whereas we've been into that level above. Yeah. And we were like that same way. We were like rabbit in the headlights. Because these people have got professional gear.
100%.
And they're being paid. You went to...
but it's the expectation as well of what you've got to do with that gear that you've got, And that's what, I went to the league AGM a couple of weeks ago and you sit at these meetings and you think, my God, it's these endless meetings about governance. I mean, I'm nodding off. It really doesn't interest me, this kind of stuff.
We're not a bank.
Exactly, but honestly, you just think, how is this step 4 of non-league football?
Yeah, they do.
But
they need to get it correct.
But it is, and that is, like the chairman says, it's like it or not, this is the world we're living in.
I know, I totally buy into it. There's awful lot of things go on. Emil's the biggest unsung hero, isn't he?
I don't know how he does it.
Because of the pressure of arranging fixtures, the making sure that your players don't play that are suspended and get players signed on.
But also, the ability to sign someone. I mean, they always open these meetings with your football secretary should be full-time. Full stop. But there's so many clubs that aren't. That's not the case. But there's clubs that are. Your Ashton Towns, your Ashton United team, they've got a full-time secretary. Bury will.
We'll wipe us out financially.
Yeah,
we can't exist in that.
No, exactly, and that's what we realise. So full credit to Emil, and full credit to all secretaries up and down the division. Because my God,
when one of them gets it wrong,
you know about it.
I think you do, and I think people are very sympathetic, but it must kill them inside. But mistakes do happen.
They do.
The workload.
They do 100%.
So the final thing I want to talk about is what Michael said. This was really interesting. He said last season there was that much to sort out that they let things go.
Okay.
Standards.
Okay.
They knew they were doing it.
Okay.
But it's not the time and the place.
Right. Okay.
To deal with.
That's interesting.
Yeah. This season.
Right.
Standards.
Right. Good.
Right up there. Good. Yeah, right up there.
Good. And they've got to be.
I think, of course. I buy into that because I'm always boring on about standards. And we've just been talking about it now. Yeah, we're at the level we're at.
And I think everybody now is, the club is on a stable footing, and full credit to Paul and team for getting the clubhouse up and running the way it is, because the clubhouse is now open full time, and that helps. And I think now people sort of say, do you know what, you're right, and we do need to step up. We do need to do this. We do need to do the other. And I think that's what we're all willing to do. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
But this season is going to be really, really hard work. But let's go.
I know. I mean, I'm in Albania for 3 weeks now. So, sorry, and then when Rugby League Ashes comes, I might be in Wembley, the odd weekend. But hey, we'll get there. We'll get there for sure.
Oh, I'm not here Saturday, but then I'm all on board.
I'm looking forward to Press Switch. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
So we're going to try and do one of these. I think they'd be really good to just discuss the games in groups of 4.
Well, I go away on the 24th of July, so we'll have to do one.
Do one before that.
Yeah. And then we can catch up maybe.
We can do a season preview.
Yeah.
And then
because we're all fixtures back then and stuff like that.
Yeah, we will do.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I'm trying to streamline the setup here. We can pull in other people and pull in Emil. Emil's always good entertainment. Maybe pull Robin. See what he thinks.
Well, Rob wants to. You know what he's like. So
was a joke.
Who knows?
Yeah, but
The seat's waiting for you though, Rob, if you do.
We'll see what we can do. Right. Cheers for that, Zach.
Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers.